West here, HawaiiRealEstate.org, coming to you live once again from the beautiful island of Maui, Hawaii. I want you guys to know that I do read all of your comments, and last night when I did the drive through Lahaina, the sun was glaring when I did the Makai or Oceanside Drive. So I read all your comments, and I obviously want the videos to be as informative as possible. So with that sun glare, you really couldn't see what was going on in Lahaina. So I'm up here first thing in the morning after checking the waves, and they're looking pretty good actually. Swell is way down, but we're going to take that drive again so that you can see exactly what it looks like. So this is actually the first few days that people can drive through Lahaina. In case you missed the video yesterday, I will put a link at the end of this description so you can go watch it. But just a few short days ago, they reopened the road, so you can now go. You can now go drive through. So let's get started. And real quick, I want to show you this very random sign. Lots of traffic now, of course. But check this out. It says, "Please help water tree." I just thought it was kind of random. Like someone took the time to make that sign and hang it and put it right by this little tree. But here's a quick shot of the surf this morning. Pretty small kind, but no wind, and lots of folks out up and down the coast getting their morning surf on for what's left of it. So anyway, without any further ado, I want to put on my seatbelt here and we'll get started. By the way, yesterday a lot of questions on where's my taco, my Tacoma. My son Ryan got sideswiped, and it's in the body shop at the It's at the doctor's office. It's in the hospital for a while. So, okay, so where am I at right now? I am on the south end of Lahaina, coming up to Puamana. There we go. Kind of zoom out a little bit there. So you can see here lots of people parked on both sides of the highway coming in from a morning session or getting ready to go out. So this is Puamana Beach Park that's been shut down for a long time because of some reconstruction that of course has never started. And then this right over here to the left is Puamana. These are some oceanfront Puamana homes that did not burn. And if you remember, this is about the location, I think, of a giant tree that went down right there. So up until just a few short days ago, you really go any further than Hokiokio. So now you can go in and drive through. No stopping, no photography. Through traffic only. So here you're seeing the first, and obviously there's much better lighting than yesterday. You're seeing the first homes that were taken out at Puamana, and we're coming up right now on the south entrance to Front Street. And this is what I mentioned yesterday, which you couldn't really see with the sun glare, was just like it's all ocean view from the highway, whereas before, these were obviously homes and you couldn't see the ocean. And then there's that red-roofed plantation house that survived in the midst of everything else going down, which is quite unusual, I will admit. And then someone did point out in the video yesterday, which is why I love reading comments, because you guys come up with some amazing insights, which is all the homes over here to the right burned on the mountainside, and all the homes on the left side here, Makai side, burned. Yet you have this 4-lane highway and these 2 large rock walls. It's kind of hard to believe that the fire could jump all that. Same thing over here. You've got this beautiful park. Nothing burned in the park except the homeless shelter housing that was behind the park. That somehow burned, and yet this is all okay. The pool's okay, but then it crossed over Shark Pit neighborhood and burned all that, because you have to remember the predominant wind was coming from the mountains to the ocean. So that was Shaw Street. That's the Baptist church that gave away a lot of the food during COVID. This is where the infamous food line video happened on Shaw Street. 505 Waipuilani Church right back there. You've got the Mission right here. We're slowing down because we're being redirected up here a little bit. The traffic has slowed down, so it's giving me an opportunity to go a little bit slower. So hopefully this is a little better lighting for you guys. One of the things I mentioned in the video last night at Baby Beach when I was closing down the video was that there's still lots of GoFundMes that are available out there to help folks. Folks are probably more in need of help now than they were a year ago as time goes on. So I put two links in the description of this video, one for Bob Ole and the other one is for Blind Daniel. So if you don't know who Bob Ole is, he one of the OG surf shapers from California, Southern California. It's lived on Maui many, many years. Well, we've lost our connection somehow. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the feed. I mean, I do know what's going on with the feed, but we're locked down. But, so apparently YouTube has shut down the stream for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know if you guys can still hear me or not. I'll change the camera angle. Okay, the tire feed for about half the drive was just completely locked up. I have no idea why. So I might just turn around and do the drive again. Oh boy. So if you're back with me now, welcome back. My screen locked up there for about half of that drive. So what I might do is just turn around, and of course it'll be much more difficult to shoot that side of the highway when I'm driving the other direction. So here you can see some construction that's happening. I think they're putting up a new Bank of Hawaii right there. So if you're just joining the live stream, I don't know what happened, but it shut down about halfway through that drive, so my screen was completely locked. I'll turn back around and see if I can make that happen. So I don't know if you heard what I was saying, but I do have two links in the description for GoFundMes. One is for Bob Ole, the OG surf shaper. I got Bob on the mind this morning. So if you could help Bob, that'd be fantastic. He's the an OG surf shaper from the original like surf shapers back in the 50s. And he's lived on Maui many, many years, makes the famous Ole surfboard. So if you want to support his GoFundMe, I put a link in the description for that. And also for Blind Daniel, who was supposed to be in the Front Street Apartments there, waited many years to get assisted living. Was a resident of Maui for many, many years, and then lost his eyesight in a very unusual, cruel incident in Florida. And was to return to Maui, and then the week of the fire, obviously he couldn't move here because his home burned down at Lahaina Front Street Apartments. So anyway, there will be a link in the description to help Blind Daniel as well, so if you could, that'd be fantastic. So okay, here's what we're gonna do. Because the live stream cut out, I don't know why, we're gonna go turn around, go back through the town, and I'll try to show you that side of the street through maybe the windshield of the truck. See if that works okay. I'm almost thinking maybe I should have gone surfing first and then had some coffee. More coffee, don't get me wrong, I've had some coffee. I couldn't do any of this without any caffeine, trust me. Okay, so now we're gonna turn back into Lahaina. So this is where we started the video yesterday, and the sun was obviously coming, you know, from the ocean side, glaring out this side of the screen, the south side, the ocean side. now. Obviously it's the next day and the sun is a little bit above the West Maui Mountains, so it's pretty decent lighting to this side. But here, I want to show you guys this side, the Makai side, and maybe through the windshield is okay. This is a different angle, obviously. So just to give you a perspective, we're just passing the smokestack. This is where the sugarcane train was. The pawn shop that burned actually before the fire. The safety check. This is First Hawaiian Bank. What was First Hawaiian Bank. The Texaco. As I mentioned yesterday, it's almost, you know, it goes without saying, it's very difficult to drive through here and see all this. Emotionally, it pulls on some feelings that you try to forget you had or repressed. And of course, since we haven't been able to drive through and see all this for a year, it's something that has been completely out of our consciousness. At the corner right now of Lahaina Luna and Honopi'ilani Highway, you can see the Catholic Church steeple off in the distance there. But it's also just hard to remember what's where. Over here we've got the Maui County Federal Credit Union. Everything around it burned to the ground, but the Maui County Federal Credit Union is perfectly fine. This was all Section 8 housing to my left, and the Aloha gas station here to the right, it's gone, of course. So I got a bus right behind me. Right lane is closed. Okay, so here we go. So to my right would be the Catholic Church, and where Aina Nalu, the condominium, was. Get back over into this lane. Sorry. Okay. So again, there we are passing the Mission, Waipuilani Church, and then we're coming up on Shaw Street. Now trust me, I wish I could go into the town and show you that, but we can't. So there's still all these, as you can see, these checkpoints everywhere, so you cannot go into Lahaina itself. Again, you can't see it here. This is the Shark Pit neighborhood to my right. That all burned, even though there's a 4-lane highway, big wall, and then this park obviously did not suffer any damage, but then the homeless housing behind did. That was all by itself in the middle of nowhere. Kind of interesting how that caught fire. This is the turnoff down to Front Street. Shark Pit homes right there. And this is kind of what I was saying yesterday. It's like everything is, you can see these blue, interesting, huh? The blue always jumps out no matter what. I don't know why, but it's just interesting. Matter of fact, the gentleman I mentioned yesterday, Joe, that went through the entire town of Lahaina the morning of the fire, he sent me all the pictures last night. He mentioned it really stood out to him as he was walking through the town how many blue objects, and also the fact that all the water meters were spraying water all over the place, and the streets were almost flooded with water, which I could see from his images. I found that to be very interesting. So hopefully this video will be usable, even though the feed cut out halfway through. Please hit the link in the description to help Bob Ole, the legend, Blind Daniel. He's also legendary, to me anyway. Blind Daniel, you're amazing. And I hope you're having a wonderful day. Can't wait to see you. In between the busy work schedule, I admit I'm probably going to go out and just catch a couple of little knee-high rides, if that's okay, before the workday starts. And of course, thank you guys so much for keeping Lahaina. Look at the lineup of cars here. This is all morning activity. I mean, look at that. Wow. You think there'll be an opportunity to actually catch a wave? I don't know. And I'm sure there's an equal amount of cars down by Laniapoko. So, anyway, thank you so much for keeping Lahaina in your prayers. Thank you so much for sharing any content that you find out there that's interesting. We want to keep this in the forefront of the consciousness of the people of this country, of the world, and certainly as a new political, season hopefully happens, both here on the island and in our country, so that the proper investigations can be. Here's a shot of on at Laniapoko. Yeah, I was talking to the someone very high up in the Maui County government. I'm not going to say what position he has or his name, obviously, but I was talking to him about the water issue, right? Because they're saying, oh, there's no water. Like this park I'm getting ready to go to is like a dirt sandbox. So it used to be nice green grass. We're talking a very relatively small piece of land here, but they don't water the parks anymore because there's no water. There's no water. There's a water shortage. And it's like, okay, let's just recap real quick. Just for fun. Just indulge me for a moment for those of you that might care. Just real quick. Hang on a second. Okay, so check this out. What I'm looking at right there is Mauna Kahalavai, right? It's the name of this mountain, Kahalavai, Mauna Kahalavai. This is, last time I checked, the second rainiest spot on Earth. Okay, maybe it's the third, maybe it's the fourth, whatever. But it is a very, 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 very rainy spot. Now, why this is all dry here is because we are in the shadow, right? The rain shadow of that 5,000 foot mountain. So all the water is dropping just a few miles that way. And all the clouds, that's what makes Hawaii amazing, right? The clouds come in through the trade winds, they stop, they drop their rain, and it's dry here, right? About 13 or 14 inches of rain. But there's lots of groundwater, there's lots of water, surface water that's flowing. And the reason why I say there's absolutely no water shortage, and I'll get good old YouTube, man. Okay, so I'll try to recap this as fast as I can. So it's the second or third rainiest spot on Earth. They're saying that we have a water shortage. That's what the government says. And that's why places like Laniapoko Beach Park are completely dry. It's like a dirt sand pit now with no green grass. But it's the second or third rainiest place on Earth. So I talked to the water guy, a person very high up in the government, and he said that basically the state controls the water on Maui, and they have ruled that all of the water must go to the streams for the Hawaiian people, which then goes out into the ocean. So we used to irrigate, I believe, 25,000 acres of sugarcane pineapple here on the island. That's billions and billions and billions of gallons of water that was used every single day for decades. So that water is not even being used anymore. It still exists. So it's not a question of there is a water shortage. There is a government ruling that says the people at the park, for example, can't have green grass because the state has determined all that water needs to go into the streams, which then flows directly to the ocean. There's no beneficial use downstream of that. They've just ruled that we can't have the water. The state has ruled it has to go into the streams. This is a quote from someone very high up in the Maui County government. So essentially, they're sucking the life out of the communities here. Laniapoko neighborhood, as an example, they no longer have an adequate amount of ag water. The entire neighborhood was built on the premise of ag lots that have to do some kind of agricultural activity, like growing citrus or growing flowers or whatever. They have to have an agricultural activity but now they don't have any ag water anymore, or very, very little of that ag water. And why? Because it supposedly is now being redirected to the streams that's going to the ocean. But here's what's interesting. I've been walking over these streams or seeing these streams for 14 years. They don't look any bigger today than they did before all this happened. So there's not like all of a sudden the streams are gorged with water and it's just all flowing and it's all going to the ocean. There's no change in the stream flow whatsoever. So I'm just not buying the whole story. They're using water as a way to restrict growth, and they're using water as a way to make the parks gross and unusable. And it's not that there isn't water. And then the narrative is, oh, we're in a drought or there's a water shortage, and that's just absolutely untrue. So anyway, I just want to share a little bit of insight on that. I could go on and on with the different tactics that the government seems to be using to create destruction, including, there's climate change is causing sea level rise, and now the high water mark is moving up higher, and so therefore you can't rebuild your seawall, you need to remove your condo from the ocean front because the high water mark has moved up right now, and we're no longer allowing you to rebuild your seawalls or repair your seawalls. So that's just another tactic that's being used to infringe on the private property rights of the citizens that own property here. So anyway, that's a complete sort of side rabbit trail over showing you what's going on here in Lahaina, but I just wanted to share that for some reason as I get ready to walk through the thorny, muddy, dusty, what used to be beautiful Laniapoko Beach Park. But find this interesting, right? All of the golf courses are still nice and green. Oh, that's private water. Okay, but let's just not call it a water shortage. There's no shortage of water. That's what makes Hawaii so beautiful and amazing and sustainable, is because of the way the whole system works. Rainwater pouring every single day right behind me, Mauna Kalavai. So anyway, guys, I'm going to head out for a quick little session. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Please hit the link in the description to help Bob Ole. Here's my classic, my OG Bob Ole shirt. And also Blind Daniel, much aloha to you, man. Hope you're doing good in your new place up in Makawao with FEMA, which that will be coming to an end. So we need to try to raise as much resources for him as we possibly can. And also, if you haven't made the switch yet, please switch for Lahaina. Check it out, link in the description, switchforlahaina.com. A nice work program that we put together for some folks here from Lahaina town. And quit stuffing your money into the elite's pockets. Put it towards made in America, family owned, and non-toxic, good products. And every time you brush your teeth, or put on some underarm deodorant, or eat some good steak, my goodness. Oh, don't get me started. Don't get me started. The meat from Switch for Lahaina, they've got a ranch on Kauai. They ship it from Oahu. It shows up at my front door, perfect. And it's the most succulent, amazing, non-mRNA meat you'll ever have in your whole life. Never any growth hormones, never any antibiotics. And it's just, I don't know what I did before that. I chewed on a lot of really hard, gross, still expensive. That's what's weird, right? You can still go and spend a lot of money on expensive steaks, and you still are like, oh gosh. Ugh. But not. The Switch for Lahaina steaks are, I challenge you to find a better piece of meat in the world, even at your best steak restaurant. So when you talk to the Switch for Lahaina guy, ask him about the steaks and give him a shot. They've got just ground beef too, but one of the keys, by the way, I think, to staying healthy in today's new era, right, is you have to source good food that has not been weaponized. You have to source good water. And then, of course, I'm going to do a little shout out right now. I don't know if you guys have read it yet, but Alan Carr, The Easy Way to Quit Drinking. I want to give a shout out to Alan and to even Joe Rogan for bringing this into my consciousness a few years ago. I read the book. I think I got into the first 2 chapters, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm so done drinking, it's not even funny. There's something about Alan Carr and the way he explains the easy way to quit drinking that just, and I wasn't like some huge drinker, right? I never was a fall down drunk. I've never blacked out. I never drank more than 2 or 3 drinks max. But man, the game changed for me when I stopped putting poison in my body, and that's what it is. I mean, and there's something in that book that you'll read maybe that'll change your mind about alcohol. And the thing that changed my mind was it said one of the, and I'll loosely, explain it or quote it. It said something like, people that drink want to feel like people that don't drink. Like they're actually looking for the type of a high that you can only get if you don't drink. I don't know, there's just something about the way it said it. It was just like, oh yeah, that is so true. So like every morning when I wake up, the way I feel, that's the high that I was searching for when I was drinking that I never got. Matter of fact, I got the opposite. I got like a short little buzz, and the next day I just didn't feel great. I just didn't feel sharp. I didn't feel the way I was hoping to feel. And then since I stopped drinking, it's like the sleep is better. I feel amazing, and I'm just so thankful that I'm not, So anyway, shout out, because I don't know, for some reason I love giving whatever health tips I'm currently working on, and the path, the journey that I'm on. We're all on a journey. But anyway, Alan Carr, you have written it in a way that somehow convinces the human brain that we have been sold a really bad bill of goods when it comes to alcohol. We watched a movie the other night, and I was just amazed at how much Hollywood shows smoking still and drinking. It's just like, really? So it's just, once the veneer comes off and you can see what's going on, it's like, yeah, man, they're trying to get us to poison ourselves. And if that didn't work, then they're just going to straight up poison us in the food, in the water. So be careful. Anything you put inside your temple, make sure it's 100% Maui approved. All right, guys, till next time. Eric West, going surfing for just a few minutes for all my clients, and then I'll be back to work, I promise. Much aloha. Maui Dan, get ready. Jack Frost is coming your way. Where's the button? Remember, guys, help Ole, help Ole, help Bob. I'm going to go surf his break where his little contest happens every year. Much aloha. Help Blind Daniel. Don't forget about Blind Daniel. Blind Daniel, we're going to start making some videos together. We're going to put some emphasis on making sure, because your GoFundMe is lacking. We're going to change that. See ya.